My beautiful collective, it's Kai. It is 10/10/2025, July 7th. And I literally woke up like this. Stuck in my head. Hello everyone. So today we're gonna talk about choosing. You get to choose whenever the fuck you want, wherever you want, whoever you want, whatever you want, whenever you want. Saying it again and again to yourself and recognizing that you have the sovereign self to choose. There's a reason why you made a choice in the past. Sometimes it's about reassessing that and actually seeing the truth in it, the vulnerability, the pain maybe that you moved from, the pain that you've healed from, and all the things that you've lived through in order to get to this point, right? Because who's gonna know your experience more true to you than you? You know, when sometimes you kind of recall these things, whether it was people who had quote unquote good intention, but then in reality it was hurting you. So how is that really healthy or good for you? Not to say that they're a bad person, but to actually say that that was not what was good for you, despite it being with good intent. You made that choice for a reason, whether it was to walk away, whether it was to speak up. And even if you feel kind of like, I don't know, maybe even embarrassed. You're like, oh shit, maybe I could have said it in a calmer tone. And I was actually watching an episode of Diary of the CEO, who I think he was like a brain scientist or something like that. But he was talking about literally the way that our brain is able to kind of connect with itself in that sense where I'm like really not saying this word for word, by the way. So once again, disclaimer, this is all just based on my own experience. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or what works best for you. If anything, I pray that my experience will in some way empower you. Because truly, I was kind of looking back. This is probably the first time they've ever done this, where I look back on my content and it made me realize that there's so many people who connect within the pain, but despite the pain, you know what I mean? It's like we are literally actively having a choice every single day to build ourselves up, to empower ourselves. That is what we are given. I was posting this on my Instagram where it was like this quote that I found in one of my notepads, and I never look back on my notepads. Well, that's false. I usually don't look back on my notepads because there's so many fucking random ass notes there. And it was like, life is not a given right. It's like almost like a privilege, you know? It's a privilege that you get to live your life. It's a pleasure. Life is so pleasurable, I promise you. And even in that sense, I feel that whenever you choose something so intentionally to build yourself up, to be more of yourself, to literally express who you truly are at your core, whatever the fuck that means for you, okay? It's just not decided or discerned by others. It's when we let other people's discussions, right? Because it's just perspective. It's their opinion. So we could talk about it all day. We could literally talk about it all day, but we're not gonna do that because also that would be draining as fuck. And that's why it's so interesting to say that we are being like put into a place because of other people's detriment. Energy is real. Energy is definitely real. And as someone who's spiritual, I totally get it. Like, especially for the empaths out there who feel very deeply, especially for those intuitives who sense something being there, even though it's not being like externally presented necessarily, it's energy. And we're constantly interacting with it. And so, what are we interacting with? What version of yourself are you actually connecting to? Even those things that in the past you felt like resonated so deeply in that present moment, there was a reason. There was a resonance. It was almost like a reclamation of yourself, almost to say in hindsight, in retrospect, through introspection, that you can see that you made the very best effort to show up in a certain way. Maybe there's a situation where you're like, you blew up or something, right? Like you blew up on someone or something, and it was like you started to get very like almost, I would say even volatile could be a good example, but like there was a reason, okay? Like your emotions are valid no matter what you're experiencing. It's about how we address it. It's about how we respond to stimuli, right? Stimuli, triggers, maybe even people who have traits that we don't even like within ourselves. Or maybe it's even things that we respect and admire so much within ourselves. So even then, it's kind of like an ego check. Well, in my perspective, it's an ego check. Where you just kind of see like, I'm putting this part of myself on a pedestal. Let's embody it. Let's be it. Let's allow myself to align to that. Where it's not some kind of like approval or like, what is that called? Approval. I don't know, that's not the word I was looking for. But to prove something. Jeez, English. To prove something to you. It's not something like that. You don't need to prove anything to yourself. It's already here. So it's being able to kind of like navigate your own mind. Navigate with you, walk side by side, but also be able to discard things that really don't have use. And I say this in a way where it's almost like your mind is a tool. Your mind and your emotions are things that are divine tools for you to utilize. It's to truly say that like there's nothing that has more value than the things that you actually use, that you put intention into. You know, let's say like, okay, for me, it would be like, I have this Japanese knife. I have this Japanese knife that I use to cook, and it like, that's what I mean by divine tool. Like I literally mean every single time I use that knife to cook food, to nourish my body, it's going divinely into my temple, this physical incarnate. So it's like, that's what I mean. Even the clothes that we wear or the makeup that we put on. Like today I was doing some glamour magic and I was just like, damn, I can't remember the last time I actually just put on makeup just to put it on. And so those are the things where you just kind of like almost reiterate something that you used to do. I used to do this all the time, right? And time is a construct, but truly to say very clearly that I am connecting to that time period simultaneously by interacting with a like almost ritual. But it's different. This embodiment, who I am now, what I've built towards, the things that I'm currently working on. I'm a Capricorn Mars, Capricorn Moon, so it's very connected to the things that I build and the things that I contribute and the ways that I talk to you guys. Because even though I was looking back, it was just to kind of review with myself, like what actually helps you guys. And one of the biggest video, it's funny because like I'm gonna go back to what I was doing previously where I'm gonna put a timestamp on this one because 1010, that number, 10, the Wheel of Fortune, ruled by Jupiter, the expansion, the knowledge that you get to build just by listening to others and experiencing your fucking life, bro. Like experiencing your life so authentically to you is so important. It's so important. Like literally, I don't know. It's funny because it's like the way that I say it now, I'm like, well, duh. But then it's like in the past, when you're so focused on other people, external things, the validation, maybe just the confirmation even of what other people are saying. It's like, no. They're just doing the thing that's reflected within you. There's a law of that. I think it's the law of polarity or parallels or something like that. I forget. I'm sorry. But it's to say that everything internal is going to be represented in the external world. It's the construct of time that gets us where it's like, okay, when the fuck is this gonna happen? You know, it's gonna happen right now. Making that decision, right? Aligning yourself to the frequency and partaking in that in this present moment. So therefore being appreciative for what you have. Grateful, gratitude, practice, consistencies, ritual, changing yourself, allowing yourself to attune to who you really are. I feel that having the timestamp is like so funny because it recalibrated my mind to think like, okay, I can talk about whatever the fuck I want, and I want it to come through very clearly for me. Because in reality, people are going to, like, even if I say these things, right? There's going to be people out there who have different perspectives, different perceptions of what they're taking from what I'm saying. So that's why I say the disclaimer, because no matter what I say about what you're doing or who you are, you're the only one who can really decide that. I'm not here to convince you about who you are. You are these things. You are great. But it doesn't matter how many times I say that, you know? You have to believe it. You have to feel it within yourself. And that's why I constantly am working on every single aspect of me where I don't feel those ways. You know, of course, I'm human. So there's times where I catch myself. I catch myself because I'm falling. And sometimes I swoon because I'm like, damn, thank you for saving me. Holy shit. I almost fucking bonked my head and concussed myself. Okay, give me a sec. You have the ability to do that. You have the ability to pursue things that you desire. You have the ability to attract things that are so aligned with you, even better than everything that you've even imagined. That's how powerful the universe is that literally they'll present situations to you and kind of be like, okay, so are you gonna notice? It's kind of like they're playing a little bit of like a tsundere game with you, where they're just like, tsundere in Japanese means like where someone's not able to like express their emotions clearly, so they kind of like do it in like a shy-ish, but even sometimes like, actually I don't think that's what tsundere is, where they're like kind of mean about it, you know? They're like, no, fuck you, but then they actually love you and like hand you something, which is funny because I'm a weeb, so yeah. Anyways, also allow yourself to love the things that you love. Allow yourself to receive inspiration from things that inspired. I know that sounds so fucking silly, but especially growing up as someone who is like the minority in classes and stuff, like especially, actually, now that I think about it, I was like the only Korean in most cases until I went into high school, which makes sense because I was going to private Catholic school for most of my primary years. Anyways, but to go back to what I was saying, love the things inspired by you, you know, like truly from you, your core. I get so inspired by my manga and my animes and like my manhwas, you know, and even the Korean dramas that I watch and like the Korean variety shows or reality shows that I watch. And like it's very connected to like me being Asian, but like as a Korean American, it can be quite polarizing when you start to see things outside of you that are so different from you, right? And to apply that law that I was just talking about, where your external world is your internal world. It's not about the definitions, not about how things are defined. It's about the feeling of it. And one of the biggest things within psychology was like, people remember how you make them feel, not about what actually was happening within context. Because even our minds, even though they're so powerful and so strong and so so abled, it's just as important to recognize that there are things that we don't remember word for word, every single detail. Even if we were to be kind of like anal about that, like this is still up for interpretation. So that's why release yourself from the things that are being presented to you. Okay. We're back. We're fucking back every single time. And that's why I'm here for you guys. Truly, I send you guys so much support and love. Thank you for allowing me the space to speak and to express to you. I hope the best, because truly, I feel that this community has grown in many different ways, and I've attracted so many different types of people during different points in time of this channel. So we're gonna just kind of start to establish things a little bit better. And that's my responsibility. So I shall take accountability. God, accountability for that. And I'll make the very best of my efforts to do so, to show up for you guys. I practice self-awareness so that I may present a little bit of my journey to you guys. That's it. I'm just human, and that's why I say at the end of every video, thank you so much for being you. Thank you for being alive. And I'm sending you guys so much love and support on your own spiritual journey. Bye, collective.